This video will change your life because these are the concepts that changed my life. If you hesitate to speak up in meetings, even when you feel like you know the answer, if you feel like your vision of the future has to include a significant other, if a potential significant other ever acted in a way that you did not like, and then you thought, is it because of me, because I'm not pretty enough, because I'm not smart enough, because I'm not skinny enough? If you ever thought to yourself, oh, I should have been XYZ in that situation, I should have been more strong, I should have been more sensitive, etc., then this is for you. So all of these issues basically stem from insecurity and a lack of confidence. And my personal thesis is that insecurity stems from a dissonance between who you see yourself as and who you want to be. And there's also an insecurity flywheel that makes insecurities much worse. So I'm gonna explain that to you now. So basically the insecurity flywheel starts at the top with insecurity. If you already have even a minor insecurity, then you basically accept poor treatment because we accept the love that we think we deserve. For instance, you might let someone treat you badly, or you might stay in a place that isn't that nice, or you might take a job that you feel like isn't quite up to your skill set. And then you realize, oh, I've accepted less than I've desired, and I'm accepting less than I think I deserve. And as a result, that dissonance between who you are today and who you want to be, the gap widens further. And then there's, again, a negative impact on your self-esteem. There's a widening self-image gap, and that further negatively impacts your self-esteem. And that lowered self-esteem ultimately results in further insecurity. So it's a negative flywheel. So you have to try and cut off the flywheel by basically only accepting the things that you think you deserve so you can move closer to that version of yourself that you want to be. So today we're going to go through how I do that and how you can do it too. So now let's go into another root of insecurity. Ultimately, insecurity can stem from relying on external validation, whether that's work, people, friends, relationships. But you really need to understand who you are without those external factors because you can't control those external factors. So you need to know who you are outside of what you do and who you are with. Now, this is not to say that you should swear off having relationships and friendships, etc. But in reality, what you should do is actually index and filter for relationships that encourage you to maintain your individuality and help you to explore yourself, and the relationships and work and things that encourage internal validation and make you feel like you can shine. So for instance, one of my ex-relationships used to always question how much I talk about him, whether it's negative or positive. And in general, he always told me, oh, you really shouldn't even talk about me that much because it should really be all about you, which I really appreciated. And I thought, he's so right. It should really be about me. So actually there was a time where my roommate and I made a rule in our house that we cannot speak about our dating life in the house. And if we do, we have to do 10 push-ups. And it's only after 7 p.m. are we allowed to talk about that. Before that, we're only allowed to talk about personal, either woes or accomplishments. So when you're in a relationship, the focus should be yourself. But even when you're single, you should also still continue to focus on yourself, because really when you are the best version of yourself, then you will only accept the love that you think you deserve. So you will only accept the best of the best because you think that you deserve only the best of the best. Because if you think you're the best, then you will only want to attract the best. And confidence in general is hot. So people will be attracted to the fact that you are so confident, and you will attract the best of the best and only accept the best of the best. So the best relationships in your life, whether it's romantic or not, will only be additive because 1 + 1 should equal 3 when it comes to relationships. So that right there is where you break the flywheel between insecurity and acceptance of bad treatment. So you just cut it right there. You only repair your security, you repair your insecurity by accepting really good treatment. Next, we're gonna talk about the widening self-image gap and how to actually minimize that gap so that the you that you are today is closer to the you that you want to become. So I asked one of my good founder friends recently what he does to feel confident, and he said that he just does things and then he realizes after the fact that he did not die from it, and that gives him confidence because he realizes that there's no reason to be anxious or have fear about what could potentially happen or to even consider what other people are thinking about him. Because in reality, the people that are considered crazy and genius are the same, and the only difference between them is that the people that are considered genius are successful. So whether that's doing things like public speaking, meeting new people, you should just be doing the things that you even think about that seem like they might spark joy, and then afterwards ask yourself, did you die though? And if the answer is no, which it will be, then you know that that's something that you can do and you are stronger for it, and that diminishes the self-image gap. So this is actually something that I started doing when I was around 8 years old. So basically when I was 3 and my younger brother was 1, he was in a near drowning accident that gave him cerebral palsy. And as a result, I always grew up fearing that something might happen to my health because I had seen it happen to my brother. But at a certain point when I was around 8, I realized that there's really no point in living in fear, because whether or not I live in fear or not won't change the actual outcome. I could potentially be a little bit more cautious, but ultimately I've never been happy with being cautious, and I may as well take risks and take advantage of all that life has to offer. So I remember one day I thought to myself, I should really work on my confidence and diminish that self-image gap by doing one thing a day that scares me. And the first day that I decided to put this into action is actually when I was at the Bahamas resort with my mom when I was 8. And they had that really, really tall water slide that goes through a shark tank. And I was really, really scared and feeling really, really nervous the entire time. My mom didn't even really feel like doing it, but I decided that I should do it because every day I should do one thing a day that scares me to slowly build up my confidence. And I did it. And then after that, I thought to myself, I should always do one thing a day that scares me. And that's a way to diminish that self-image gap and to build confidence. Another way to do this on a smaller scale is to set tiny little goals and tasks for yourself every day and accomplish them, so you can build trust with yourself that you can indeed do things and accomplish them. So one way that I do this is I have a 5-minute journal. Every day you list out 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you want to happen that day, and at the end of the day you list 3 things that you learned from that day. And that's a really good way for me to look back on the day and realize that this was a successful day because I learned something. And I also go through the things that I wanted to happen, and usually just the act of writing them down in the morning manifest for myself that I will complete that task during the day. And then I end up having a really accomplished, intentional day, and I build trust with myself that I can accomplish these goals. Now, while you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have a solid support system around you and those that only bring you positive energy. So the Wizard Liz has amazing videos about confidence. And she basically says in one of her videos, realize that it's okay to outgrow certain people and situations. And this is because so many people change throughout their life. At a certain point, they may give you negative energy. And at a certain point, you may realize that that's not going to benefit you. So it's okay to let those things go and just continue to proceed with positive energy. I generally think that it's a good practice to also practice stoicism and not to be too sensitive to things. So if you do feel negative energy at like a 1% level, then it's good to be aware of that. And if it doesn't affect you in 5 years, don't give it more than 5 minutes, which is a quote that Tinks, another influencer, once gave out. So I do try to be aware of not being too critical of negative energy, but in general, you want to make sure that you're only surrounding yourself with things and people that will lift you up and make you feel good and help you reduce that self-image gap. And also encourage you to cut acceptance of less than you deserve. And when you're surrounded with people that are accomplishing things, you realize that you do deserve to be there and you do deserve the best that they also do. And then you should begin to treat yourself as you treat others. If you consider yourself to be a good friend, then you should be a good friend to yourself too. So I actually moved to another room to give you my next piece of advice because as I was filming it, I realized that I wasn't even following my own advice. My next piece of advice is that you should always look good, because then if you look good and you think that you look good and you tell yourself that you look good, you will feel good. And in the last room, it was kind of giving interrogation, and in this room, it's giving chief executive officer, which I am, by the way. So you want to develop a routine that makes you feel good in your skin. So for me, that's putting on a little bit of mascara, doing my brows, doing a manicure every 6 weeks is something that makes me feel confident. Always wearing tiny little pieces of jewelry. This ring was literally $1 and these earrings were literally $7. And these bracelets were also pretty inexpensive. This jacket I thrifted, but they're all things that help me feel confident because I feel like I look good, and as a result, I feel good. And I also use fashion as a form of self-expression to help reduce that self-image gap because I see myself as someone that values self-expression, art, and fashion, and standing out. So as a result, I always try to get statement pieces because that reduces my self-image gap. So this is a statement piece in a way because it has art on the back. And I try to take meetings in big conference rooms when they're available because it makes me feel important and special, and that's the way that you should feel. Other ways that I celebrate my physical appearance are, I remember once I was having a period of anxiety, so I created a list of things that I was gonna do every single day to reduce my anxiety, and one of them was to take a selfie that I loved every day. Even if it took me a full hour of taking selfies, I would do it because then at the end of the day, I would look at that photo and think to myself, wow, I am so beautiful, and I should love myself for this, and it should be celebrated and documented. So I did that every day, and it encouraged me to get dressed, put on a little bit of makeup, do whatever it is that I need to do to feel good so that I look good, and then I feel good again. My mom also throughout my entire life printed really, really big prints of everyone in the family and put them all over the house. So I started modeling when I was 14 or 15, and my mom blew up all of my modeling shots so that we could have them around the house and I could be celebrated. As Taylor Swift says, your love should be celebrated, not tolerated. So now we're gonna talk about the shift. The Wizard Liz and Tinks are some of my favorite influencers that discuss a mindset shift around confidence and loving yourself. And the real shift should be decentering other people's opinions and instead focusing on yours. So Tinks's book, for instance, is called The Shift. And the big thesis of her book is that, especially for women that are dating, after they go on a date, they always ask themselves, oh, did he like me? I hope that he liked me. When in reality, the shift should be towards, do you like him? It should be about you. You should be decentering other people's opinions because they are worrying about their own opinions. And then if you're not worrying about your own opinion, who is going to foster that opinion? You're the only person that can do it. So you have to be the one to stop and think to yourself, did I like them? How did they make me feel? Do they lift me up? Do they help me feel confident? Do they help me be the best version of myself? And although it's difficult, you have to silence other people's opinions. When you walk into a room, it's easy to think about what is everyone else thinking about me, but in reality, they are thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, what is everyone else thinking about me? They're just worried about themselves. Everybody is really just worried about themselves. So like even for instance, yesterday, I was wearing flood pants to the gym, and I remember walking around the gym thinking to myself, I can't believe I'm wearing flood pants to the gym. It's so embarrassing. People are probably wondering why I'm wearing flood pants at the gym and thinking that I don't look good. But then I was looking around the gym and thinking to myself, literally no one cares. Nobody's looking at me wondering why I'm wearing flood pants. And if they are, they're in a negative mindset and seeing me through the lens of an evil eye and emanating negative energy, which I just don't even want to be near at all. So it really doesn't matter if I'm wearing flood pants at the gym because nobody else is noticing. The girl next to me was probably thinking to herself about what she was doing and worried about something that she was doing or celebrating something that she was doing, better yet. And she was just definitely not thinking, why is the girl next to me wearing flood pants? Like that thought process to even explain to you just seems so trivial, and it's just definitely not realistic. So if you actually go through the motions of thinking about how logical it is that someone else would be judging you, that is just not happening and not where your mindset should be. So instead, you should be thinking about what you think about yourself. So I shifted my mindset to, although these are flood pants, at least my body looks good in them from knees up, and at least I'm getting a good workout in, and I've been consistent about working out. So that is the actual shift, is decentering other people's opinions and centering your own. Now we're gonna talk about tools to help you reframe your reality. So maybe asking yourself, why would you wanna reframe your reality? You wanna have a good grip on reality, but I think it's really important to know how to reframe your reality because usually insecurities and your perceptions of other people's judgment of you is an actual figment of your own reality. So if that is really just made of your perception of reality, then you may as well just use tools to reframe that reality into something that will benefit you. So number one is with body language. One way that you can reframe your reality around how people approach you and see you is having really open and confident body language. Standing tall, using gestures that help you take up space, like I gesticulate a lot, and being able to look around a room, being confident, being approachable, giving off just good energy and welcoming energy that you are able to be approached is a good way to reframe your own reality, that you are someone that people do want to get to know and they do want to talk to, and usually that is what works. Let me read you some examples. Number one, studies in nonverbal communication indicate that making eye contact or scanning a room can signal openness and social availability. People are more likely to approach someone who appears engaged with their environment rather than being on their phone. So I actually saw a TikTok recently.
People who got approached the most at clubs had the biggest signal of availability. So they weren't the most attractive men and women. She did this for both men and women. In fact, the most attractive woman in the room, if they had closed off body language, they were not approached, they did not get dates, they did not get out their number. It was the men and women who signaled, I'm available.
How do you signal I'm available?
Okay, so this is really important for dating in the sense of wanting to be approached. Dating one-to-one is a little bit different, right? You don't need to signal this if you're one-to-one. But if you're in a big room or you're speed networking, one is open body, no blocking. I never want anything in front of your torso. I don't want this. I don't want arms crossed. I don't want cup in front of you. I don't want you clutching your computer or your iPad or your phone. I want you to make sure that your torso is open and angled out towards the room. I like croissant feet. Parallel feet are like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
In a dating situation, I want you to have croissant feet, which is your feet are angled toward the biggest part of the room, saying, I'm open, come and approach me.
Okay.
That signals to both men and women, oh, maybe that person is literally physically open to someone coming in and breaking this conversation. It also means small, darting glances to everyone around the room.
Everyone?
Everyone you want to approach you.
Oh, everyone you want to approach you?
Yeah.
How many times does someone got to do a glance to get someone to come over?
So Monica Moore actually studied this. I believe it took 8 glances to get someone to approach. Don't quote me on that. It was way higher than I thought. When I'm gesturing, I'm sort of gesturing towards them. So I'm on their line of gesturing. So like if I'm gesturing out, I'm making a gesture for them to literally come over. If they are attracted to you at all, they will come over. If they don't come over, they're probably not attracted to you. Try someone else.
Research has also found that brief eye contact combined with a friendly facial expression can make you seem more inviting. So because I'm 5'10", people usually tell me that I'm really intimidating, but then they tell me that I usually am kind of like, that I'm not so intimidating. So other social cues like not having crossed arms and in general just kind of having open body language, like feet pointing forward, straight legs, standing tall, posture. It makes you feel confident, and it will kind of help scientifically as well for you to feel confident. It's like the TED Talk on giving a Wonder Woman pose. Amy Cuddy's TED Talk titled Your Body Language May Shape Who You Are discusses the concept of power posing.
So I want to ask you first, both to try power posing, and also I want to ask you to share the science, because this is simple. I don't have ego involved in this. Give it away, share it with people, because the people who can use it the most are the ones with no resources and no technology.
So the research that actually supported this scientifically there was a 2010 study by Dana Carney and Andy Yap, power posing brief nonverbal displays affect neuroendocrine levels and risk tolerance. So it showed hormonal changes. Adopting the expansive high power poses for 2 minutes increased testosterone and decreased cortisol, which is associated with stress. Participants who adopted power poses were more likely to take risks in gambling tasks, indicating increased feelings of empowerment. And participants felt more powerful and in control after engaging in power poses as compared to lower power poses, which had contractive, smaller body position. So obviously if you're kind of like this, it's different than being like this. So that is how to trick your mind into being more confident, and that's how to indicate to others that you are indeed confident. And people are attracted to confidence because confidence is hot, so then they will approach you. Lastly, you want to verbally indicate this confidence as well. And I think the most confident people are those that are nice to other people. So you always want to give out compliments to others and make other people feel good and uplifted. And selfishly, it'll make you feel like a good person. But also it helps you focus in general on positivity and practice that optimistic mindset. It strengthens social bonds, which in general is correlated to greater happiness. Your focus will be set on other people and not yourself, so it will reduce self-consciousness. It's a reinforcement of a positive identity, aka seeing yourself in a good light as someone that's really kind, and that reduces that self-image gap that I was talking about. Plus, it's usually reciprocated, so when you're nice to others, then they will be nice to you, and as a result, you will feel good about yourself. So another way to reframe your reality is actually to start conversations with random people, even if it's something as simple as where is the bathroom, and then you can ask them how your day is going, etc. A CEO that I admire, Tara, who is the CEO of Rupa Health, I remember in a podcast she once said that she used to practice rejection therapy, where she would ask people where the bathroom is, and she would just get accustomed to rejection as a business tactic, but also as a personal development skill. And I think that this was really interesting because not only did it benefit for her business, but I think it could also benefit you mentally to just strike up these random conversations with people and get used to talking to people and not being afraid of these things. If it's something that scares you, then you should do it, like I said, because you should do one thing a day that scares you, but also because starting up random conversations with random people is actually scientifically beneficial for your mental health. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about a dopamine menu. This is something that started going viral on TikTok this year, but it's basically a list of things that just spark joy for you. Even if it's really small, like petting a really cute dog, that is something that could be considered a dopamine menu. A friend of mine recently told me that when she was feeling really depressed, a practice that she started employing was doing a photo dump at the end of each week where she posted 10 photos of things that made her feel happy that week and sparked joy for her. So even if it was a really cute dog that she happened to spot on the street, she included it in the photo dump, and then she was eventually, after a couple weeks, looking back and thinking, wow, I had so many moments that were so joyful that there must be so much more to look forward to, and it helped her decrease her depression. So I'm gonna read you my personal dopamine menu that I have crafted over the course of 4 years, basically. I've kept this list. It stood the test of time. Number 1, aligning with how you want to be perceived and how you are perceived. For instance, I have a really cute phone case. I'll include a selfie here. But basically, this phone case makes me feel cute because it has really cute little images on it, and it makes me feel dainty and feminine, which is how I like to see myself. And it reduces that self-image gap because who I am today is who I want to be. Working on my company with a thought partner that I respect. While I discussed not seeking validation from external resources, I think that having work that is fulfilling is definitely something that can contribute to your self-identity and making you feel productive. So it's important to note that you should be prioritizing the actual act of working and learning rather than tying that validation to the actual outcome of the business or your work. So for instance, for me, I really try to focus on every day, what am I learning and what am I doing to move the needle and move things forward? And am I working with someone that I respect and can learn from, rather than thinking about how much money are we making every single day? Because if I learn something, that's a win for me and something that I can control, versus how much money we are making, which is not exactly something I can control. Taking photos of myself, wearing statement pieces, like I said, waking up and having at least 2 hours of free time to chill and do what I want, eating big, healthy, protein-heavy meals, doing my nails and not having cracks in them, and shaping my own natural nails. So these are natural nails in an oval shape and usually bright colors that are feminine, helps me feel more confident. Having nice little pieces of jewelry, working out in cute workout sets. This is something that helps increase my confidence because then while I'm working out, I feel good and I like to stay at the gym even longer because I have a good outfit on. Having soft hair, which is why I condition every night. Fun fact about me, I didn't start using conditioner until about 2 years ago. I just thought it was pointless and I never understood why people used conditioner. But then I started using it and realized that soft hair makes me feel confident, specifically Monday conditioner. Having a sleep score of at least 85 plus as tracked by my Oura Ring, because then I feel healthy and I feel like I'm working towards a good life. Traveling makes me feel confident because then I feel like I'm learning new things. Doing one thing a day that moves the needle. So even on days when I'm feeling really unproductive and don't know what to do that day, I just think to myself, what is one thing that I could do today to really move the needle? And I do that. So for instance, today it was filming this vlog and then even possibly promoting it on Reddit. Consuming knowledge, audiobooks or otherwise, walking and listening to a really good hype song, working in an office or a WeWork with other people that I like to learn from. And in general, if I'm feeling sad or downtrodden about anything, my hack is to just go to the gym, because you will always feel good after going to the gym, and it's something that you can control and usually have access to. So even if I'm going twice a day, if I feel sad, I go to the gym and almost always I feel better afterwards. Psychology Today reports that people often underestimate the benefits of engaging with strangers. Research indicates that initiating conversations with unfamiliar individuals can lead to more positive experiences than anticipated, contributing to improved well-being. And a study highlighted by NPR found that individuals who interact with a diverse range of people, including strangers, friends, and acquaintances, experience greater happiness. It emphasizes the positive impact of relational diversity, suggesting that the more varied our social interactions, the happier we tend to be. So this is another really good way to kind of trick your mind into being more confident. If you're someone that experiences social anxiety, which even me, I occasionally experience social anxiety, You just have to talk to one person afterwards. Ask yourself, did you die though? Even if the conversation is awkward, you're not going to remember it in 5 years, so don't give it more than 5 minutes and just move on to another person. In my experience, 1 in 7 people that you talk to will be someone that you really vibe with. The last thing that I will leave you with is you should just fake it till you make it. Physically, you can fake it even if you don't feel that confident. Just have open body language, and scientifically, it is proven that this will help you feel better, and eventually you might even get approached, and then it will reduce your anxiety and you'll just feel better about yourself in general. So that's a good way to physically fake it. If you're looking to mentally fake it, then you should just start complimenting yourself, taking selfies, noticing all of the positive attributes about what you're seeing, and in general, just trying to approach things with a lens of optimism so that you can continue forth positively. So if you watch Euphoria, I'm gonna read you a quote from Euphoria by Maddie Perez.
Do you like it? I feel stupid. What? Everyone feels stupid. Who cares? You feel stupid? Yeah, I did. And then I just chose not to feel stupid. I don't know if I can really get to that point. 90% of life is confidence. And the thing about confidence is no one knows if it's real or not.
Wise words from one of my favorite characters. And overall, beyond faking it, I think confidence stems from empathy and being nice to others for all of the reasons that I mentioned. It just helps you see things in a more positive light, and in return, they will give you back that positive energy. So always approach things with empathy and try to understand others. Try to be stoic. Reduce the negative energy that you allow yourself to accept, because you don't want to get that flywheel going where you're accepting less than you think you deserve. And just do things. And then afterwards, ask yourself, did you die though? Anxiety is really a manifestation of fear. So if you're someone that experiences anxiety like me, this is also something good to practice, because in reality, you'll realize that there's nothing to be afraid of. Jack Ma, the co-founder of the Alibaba Group, was once asked about managing challenges, and he emphasized that worrying doesn't solve the problems. In a statement, he said, he does nothing. If I don't sleep well, the problem will still be there. If I sleep, I have a better chance to fight it. Having good sleep is so important with emotional regulation especially, so that's another thing that you can do to trick your body into being more confident, is just getting good sleep. I know whenever I get my sleep score above 85, that's a really good way to continue my path towards confidence and self-esteem. So be sure to cut that negative flywheel if you find yourself experiencing it, and always walk towards confidence, because you deserve the best. Bye.